one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best? There is no second best.
Rediscover a bull market. That's what this is about. Discover crypto, yes, but we want to see that upside price action. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the streams, everybody. Discover Crypto's at it again. We got a great, hell of a show lined up. We are in the eye of the storm right now. Case in point right now, altcoin ETFs absolutely maybe setting up for an alt season, or is it just going to be something that's going to let the air out of the tires? We also got some major news from Western Union and Solana. We've also got Chainlink, more partners. We've also, the list just goes on and on. So we're going to dive right on into it. Everybody, as you roll in, let me know right now. Are we going to, is October delayed a month? Are we about to have Moonvember? Or do you think we're going down from here? Let us know what you think in the comments right now. Comment down below as well if you're watching this later. My name's Kelly Kellum, and we have got an absolutely spectacular show lined up for you. So hit that like button, and I'm going to go Three's Company, baby. What's up, Drew? What's up, Piano Matty B?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. And you know what? It's always a good day when Piano Matty B joins us on the show. You know?
Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty B almost got us in trouble with the music stuff. So we got to be, we're in the doghouse right now with YouTube. So we're going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mean that the Three's Company lick there?
No, not that one. Not that one. I just quick heads up before we get into everything, just so you know the shaky ground we stand upon. Yeah. I'm pretty excited for Matty B's macro TA as well. Like I saw some stuff in terms of money flow and indicators I use that actually look pretty damn good. Matty has always been historically pretty accurate with the fibs. He pulls the fibs, he pulls them out. Everyone can't believe what they see. They're huge, right? So excited to get that information from you, Piano Matty B.
Don't lie.
What's that?
The fibs don't lie.
The fibs don't lie. The fibs do not lie, man. So I'm excited to get into it. We have a whole rundown. But I do want to kind of let the TA fellas here, Kelly Kellum and Piano Matty B, kind of riff as we hunt for Green October, right? It's a search that is ongoing.
Hey, well, they kind of came out with some data. What was it, last year or 2 years ago, that the everybody's moon signs and astrology, all of it was off by a month. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe this hunt for Green October, maybe the Octoberness is actually because the months are all on the Gregorian calendar versus the moon side. I don't know, but we got some data in the charts. I know I'm seeing some things, but I'm curious what our man, Mr. Matty B, is seeing. Matty Bitcoin, that's what it's all about.
Well, let's take a quick trip through the charts here. And the one thing you got to remember is that the market wants to take as little amount of people with it. So when this thing blasts off, it's going to be when everyone is so incredibly exhausted and bored and the bull market's over and I should have sold it at 126 or whatever. As soon as you hit that max pain, the market's going to blast. That's why I have a little bit of bullish fervor that's starting to boil up, because I'm just a natural contrarian. So when the markets get so down in the dumps, I'm like, this is when the best time, right? When everyone's not paying attention, everyone's bored, everyone's tuned out. That's usually when it goes kaboom, and you get those big channels. But this is the 4-hour chart. She's a noisy little so-and-so. I just put this morning, this channel of ascension, which we've been basically riding for a little while. And you can see here, we're at the 50% fib, just consolidating. This is a dead market right here. This move here is just like, don't, not doing anything. It's currently at the 200 moving average. So this is just like one of the major points of consolidation. Look, we even got the 20 going to come up and join the party. So we got the 50% Fibonacci, 200 moving average, 20 moving average. Some people call that a golden cross, but I'm not a big believer in golden cross. We can get into that.
Hey, Mr. Matty B.
Yeah.
Will you do me a favor? Will you show us where you pulled that fib from? And I hate to, not to be too racy, but I never asked another man to pull his fib, in front of all these people. But I'd like to see where you're pulling it from.
This is the 4-hour chart. So this is based on our last local top right here, 126, pulled down to the local bottom. So it's your textbook fib draw from highs to lows, if that makes it any more clear. 126 being the high, and then the low being right here at 103. So this
Absolutely.
is the interesting part about this is that this is Bitfinex, and it went to 103. So, but if you go to say the daily chart here, which is Bitstamp, she didn't go to 103. Oh, wait a second, it did go to 103 now. That's bizarre. So they're correcting. Remember last week? This is weird. This is like the Mandela effect. Do you remember last week we were talking about this? How some charts just went to 108, 107. Look, now they're correcting. This was not 103 last week, and we can go back to that video, on your own time, obviously. But it wasn't 103. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
it's like
it's thrown a lot of people off.
Yeah.
It is. It's thrown a lot of people off, and some of the crazier things, I mean, beyond the Bitcoin TA is the macroeconomic indicators that are going on, and if it matters for Bitcoin. But a lot of times these fibs Maddie's showing here end up playing pretty crazy, and specifically to where he's calling for. So terrifying as it may be. And we do have people in the chat scanning for Canadians now. So you've tipped off the chat, and they are looking for the Canadian in the room here. But continue on, Maddie B, because there's a lot of uncertainty.
There sure is. And usually like in a market like this where we're waiting on big moves, remember there's only about 12 a year. It's a crazy selling. Hey, you got to get into Bitcoin. It's so exciting. Like 12 days a year it moves, and the rest, it just kind of sits there. So when it's just sitting there, we're just going to flip-flop back to these Fibonacci's. My bullish delusion on this 4-hour chart is to get up to 38.2%, which is also confluent with this channel of ascension at 117. Now, 117 is a super important metric. We did talk about this last week. I feel like I'm going on and on and on ad nauseum about it, but this is where we can confirm from the past bear markets that we hit our high 126. We have a massive crushing, soul crushing 18% dump, and then we try to get back up over the 38.2% fib, and wouldn't you know, it's 117. Right. So I've told everyone on my channel, just keep your peepers on 117. We want to get through 117. We want to blow through it. We don't want to get rejected. And this, like let's say nothing happens for the next 6 months and we just kind of diddle down 80 or 90, right? We'll look back and we'll consider this a rejection from the 38.2% fib, which is
but Matty B,
yeah,
everybody wants to know when Lambo, and this is a current Lambo model. This is the current Lambo model that we have right now. There's some other variations here. We've got Bitcoin Uber. This is the what's going on right now. We got the Pinto.
Sweet Pinto.
We've got the Power Wheels that just completely doesn't even have balance. So when Lambo and also when can we upgrade this model to something more relevant to prosperity?
Well, I started thinking about when Lambo this past week because a lot of us in this community had a different take on where we would all be, both financially and even as creators, where channels would be in the heat of a bull run, right? So you almost ask yourself, if it's not over, the best days have to be ahead of us. However, we don't have a lot of runway, but the runway is based on old metrics, and maybe that's the boomer metrics.
Absolutely. You know what? I will say, take profits. Okay, when we've had like a lot of the people that are in max pain right now are in altcoins, right? And granted, when I talk about my portfolio that's on the front lines, it doesn't include the Bitcoin. It doesn't include the Bitcoin for the kids, for the family, right? It's altcoins that are on the front lines, but we've had AVAX go from $10 to $52 in the blink of an eye. I cheated that. A $3 ICP up to $16. I cheated that. Constantly taking profits. And now we're in this situation where I find it very, very interesting to see all of the bearish metrics, all the bearish takes. And this is where it's coming from, this chart that Kelly's showing right now. It's the others compared to Bitcoin, the coins outside of the top 10, compared to the king of crypto, which is Bitcoin. They're losing a lot of ground, but we have insane news happening all the while, right? We have, Japan rolling out stablecoin and fiat integration into Avalanche and Ethereum, right? And Polygon. What? it's getting integration into a national currency transfer, and people are kind of shocked and bewildered by this market. And I don't really blame them for feeling that way. I actually saw some pretty incredible things on Bitcoin earlier this morning that I might as well hop into here. Let's see. I'll share this screen because I found this fascinating. So let's see here. Oop, that's a different one. Let's get yours and then mine here. So this are money flow indicators, VWAP indicators, and momentum indicators. Something that I'm the most excited about is on the weekly time frame. If you weren't like hyper focused on this very specific indicator, you wouldn't have seen it yesterday. But Bitcoin is printing an internal green dot within a massively bullish green money flow wave. Now, when I say that, it sounds like gobbledygook, like male astrology. But the only other time that I've ever, well, actually, I mean, I didn't even have these indicators when it happened last. The only other time that I can highlight an internal green dot inside of a money flow wave like what we have right now in this current situation is back in 2016. And at that time frame, obviously Bitcoin was a much, much different price. Bitcoin ended up rallying by 2,800% from this internal green dot print, and a massive continuation of multiple giant momentum wave upswings to Bitcoin's momentum. This is 2017. And when I look at this current scenario, a lot of people that are just, saying the bull market's over, they're looking at this money flow wave, this momentum, this loss of steam that we just went through in the last bull market. And they're looking at this current situation saying there's no way that this can continue. I have not seen an internal green dot on the weekly for Bitcoin literally ever in my trading career. It's only happened in September of 2016, and it went on to do a mind-numbing, blistering rally on up from there. So I do give credence to the bears that are calling for this market to be over because they're using pretty standard metrics, and they're expecting a lower high on this momentum wave and basically a petering out of Bitcoin's price action up and to the right, thus bringing us down to essentially what I'd see the new floor being $69,000. If we do fall from here, 69K, I think, is going to hold like a rock solid wall. That's my take, though. I think
it's crazy you say 69K because it's on a day where we broke 6,900 on the S&P 500 today. The only thing that's missing is a 420K Bitcoin. So is Josh Mandel, are we going to get like the most ridiculous moon ever? Because he called for 444,000 by November, I believe. I don't really see that happening. I think it'd be spectacular if we hit 180 by the end of the year, like Chris Klein from Bitcoin IRA has been calling for about 7 months, which I think is still possible. But I know, Drew, you and I were talking over lunch, and everybody in the chat, I want you guys to participate in this as well. Throw 1 in chat if you think we hit a new high this year. And if we don't hit a new high this year, it doesn't mean you don't think we can next year. But do you think we're going to hit a new all-time high this year between now and December? Throw a 5 in chat if you think we're going to hit any new all-time highs in 2026 after Q1. So Q2 onward, do you think we're going to hit any new all-time highs? And then just type bear if you think we've already hit the top and we're going to have a years-long just bearish trenches, because I think it's going to be nuanced between all those. And I think maybe one will hit, but I also think, as Drew pointed out, that, people forget we dropped sideways 7 months last year.
Right.
7 months. And right now we're at about 100 days, 110 days sideways. There's nothing that says we can't chop slightly angled down either, to even work our way down to like $85,000 before we make that next leg up or continue a trek to winter.
Yeah, it's just, this is a very basic structure on the weekly. Every single time I see the VWAP push down to the 15, 17 level and a sharp reversal, not a rounded reversal, Bitcoin chooses violence to the upside. The same thing for if we have a sharp reversal to the VWAP at, from top to low. And in a bull market, usually these bottom end VWAP resurgences are the most violent to the upside. I actually, looking at this and the amount of people that are bearish on crypto Twitter, I think we're very, very capable of hitting into that realm 180, maybe even up to 200 within this cycle. It's well within the fib range of the entire cycle.
Well, here's an interesting point. Peter P put this. He said, we need a good flush to reset the market. So my question for you for Piano Matty B, you first, and then Drew follow up. Does October 10th not count as that flush, or do you think that we might need more? Because I see open interest has fallen off a cliff. I see, the amount of liquidity is still kind of a little bit sidelined in terms of whale size positioning, average transaction size, so on and so forth. And fear and greed has been, bouncing around that 22, 24, 27. It's back above in like the 38s area now, but do you think there's a likely another flush in order, or do you think, I mean, on the one side, I'm worried about that kind of flush because it feels like the sentimentality is so on the edge right now and concerned with this potentially being a top. I feel like if we got another flush, it would be a multi-month recovery in order to pull out of that. What say you, Mr. Matty B?
Well, I think, according to the sentiment, that was a hell of a flush. Like, I remember watching it live whenever on October 10th, like in the afternoon, just drinking a coffee going, holy, look at this thing go. And then the reality of it is it was only an 18% dump. So, right. I mean, it was really nothing. So in a weird way, was it enough to reset? I don't know, but it was enough to reset sentiment. But I think what an interesting part about this bull run now is that amongst some of the creators, including yourselves, that I watch, there's a strange humility in top predictions opposed to the talking heads, where there's an incredible amount of hubris and like we're the $1 million, the 600, the 440. But you got to remember these are all salesmen. They're usually pitching an ETF or something, and then when you go down to like the creators that have been here a long time, they kind of know better. These moonshots can happen, but the humility that I've seen amongst some of the more credible creators have like these top prices of 150, and that's an even stretch sometimes. Whereas if you watch like CNBC, you'll have like what is the name? Tom something. The guy who kind of talks like this. He talks like this when he's.
I don't watch the mainstream media. I couldn't tell you what that guy's name is. Was it Tom Lee?
Oh, Tom Lee.
Tom Lee, yeah. So he'll be like $1 million. It's going to $1 million, I think. If this and that happens.
Well, he's not using your charts, Matty B. He needs to use your charts.
He's not pulling fibs. He's not a fib puller. That's how easy technical analysis is.
Well, I mean, it's truly understandable for me looking at people that are used to 4-year cycles, trading the 4-year cycles, calling us the top is in. Like the top's supposed to be in October, according to a 4-year cycle. I have enough macroeconomic counterpoints to the reason to inject liquidity into American business, the business cycle being at an extreme low, quantitative easing beginning, bank unrealized losses hitting levels that make the 2008 financial crisis look like a bump in the road. I have a litany, an arsenal of macroeconomic data points telling me that the US government is about to print us into damn near hyperinflation, and Bitcoin likely to absorb a lot of that. It's not even that, we're in stagflation right now. It's just about if the PhDs want to admit it, right? Matty B, did you see the data point? Okay. For every dollar that Americans, their tax money is taken from them and put into action on EBT, it brings back $1.50. So it basically increases the GDP. The more money that this government
it's a shell game, man.
It's a shell game, right? And so the system is built upon the shell and built upon the psyop. And I think these bear market indicators are psyoping people into giving up their bags early. That's my opinion. This is the unrealized gains and losses. This is our current situation. This is my favorite chart in crypto.
Guys, you can't see my mouse. See my mouse?
Right.
This was going into the 2008, oh my God, financial catastrophe. This is the bad data. This is the bad situation we're in. Look at this. There's nothing they can do other than print so much money that it's just like, and it sucks unless you're in investments and you just literally, it's like flying a kite with I mean, it's with I don't even know, a bed sheet for, it's not even a kite. It's just, I mean, what situation are we in right now? It's bananas.
So we're in a financial centipede, right? Where one system is hooked to the next, and then that middle system is hooked to the back system. It's a financial centipede. It's an ugly situation. It is what it is. I truly feel in my heart of hearts like people are giving up at a very, very bad time in crypto. And this is coming from a guy that was able to buy the extreme lows in altcoins and G'd them at really, really good rallies. The prices of these altcoins flushed all the way back down to those bear market accumulation levels. I've restacked up. I've also made a good amount of tether through the process trading actively. Yes, I trade, and I use that tether to go speculate when I feel like the time is right. Looking at the weekly time frames, I feel like the time is right now. As
well, you know what? What do we got going on today? What's happening today? And there's going to be some resolution tomorrow. What is it?
I mean, tell me. Let's go.
We got the FOMC meeting. The FOMC meeting is today. Everybody goes, no, it's tomorrow. No, it's today. They resolve it tomorrow. They make the determination and give us that data at 2:00 tomorrow and at 2:30. By the way, we're going to be going live probably about 2:00, maybe just before 2:00 tomorrow, live streaming all the way through it. Listen to Jerome Powell read off of a teleprompter. Maybe he looks like he's in CGI again. But guys, we're seeing the stock market opened with a gap. Remember this the other day when it's like, no, this is a lower high. Okay. How about this not being a lower high, but opening at a new all-time high and then blasting up, opening at a new all-time high? Guys, I mean, we are in an absolute,
it's an up only inflationary
catastrophe for the bears. Right. And if they cut rates tomorrow and they're dovish in any way, and remember what's happened, that's the next 2 days. That puts tomorrow at the 29th. Over the next 2 or 3 days, I think we're going to get a resolution, or at least an intended resolution about what's happening with China. This market can flip on an absolute dime, and it could be $74,000 in 2 weeks, and it also could be $145,000. This is why they say if you were in the market the last 4 years and you missed just the 10 best days, you would miss out on like 84% of the gains. Yep. This is why if you're trading, trade, but make sure your portfolio in crypto is either exposed to long-term bags that you're not moving, or you are just a trader and you have the majority in stable coins and you're taking action on the moves in both directions.
Yep. Well, imagine what you'd have to be telling yourself to sell right now. So let's go into the future, and let's say you convinced yourself to sell right now. And you had to explain to your kids, hey, Dad, why did you sell in October 2025? And you'd have to give them the most ridiculous answers, such as, well, the whole government of the United States pivoted and became pro, Bitcoin and wanted to make it the crypto capital of the world. And I kind of took that as bearish. And they were about to print trillions and trillions of dollars that just, pump hard assets like Bitcoin. And I somehow thought that was bearish too. What are people telling themselves to sell? I don't understand. And if you look into the future, let's say we do hit that 74K, right? Who cares? Because the amount of economic calamity that's going to pump Bitcoin and any type of asset to the moon in the next 4 years is so crazy. So you may have 6 months of pain, oh my God, what the 74K. But in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you'll just be like, oh my God, thank God I didn't sell that Bitcoin at the heat of the bull run.
Right. It's such a crazy time to be alive. And also, Kelly mentioned we're going to be doing the long stream tomorrow. We also got to mention there's going to be earnings tomorrow. Really big earnings for Meta, Google, Microsoft. Let's get you in this. I'm sorry. All reporting their earnings at the same time, right? So This is happening tomorrow. We're going to be live streaming. We also have $31 billion worth of Bitcoin options that are going to expire on Halloween. A massive flush, almost double the previous high of $18 billion.
Crazy.
There's a lot of things happening right now. This week it's almost like I am a perp trader for sure. This week is like a little sketchy for me to be.
But then again, this goes back to what Piano Matty B was saying regarding the landscape. There's going to be volatility, and I spoke about this on the morning financial spaces on the Mario Fall yesterday. They asked me to break down Bitcoin in the context of risk and what's going on with the broader markets. I really honestly believe we're in a very, very sort of tale of two divergences right now. We have an overwhelming bullish divergence on the fundamentals in the landscape and context surrounding Bitcoin, while there are bearish divergences that have been forming since March of last year on Bitcoin. So there is a technical argument to be made. Yes, it makes sense if we drop here. Also, 4-year cycle, some bearish divergences, sure. But then we also have the landscape, the legislation, the capital access channel, the fact that we have the altcoins right now that are just stacking into this. So alt season incoming, let's ignore that. Let's just look at this. Sol, HBAR, Litecoin, spot ETFs hit U.S. exchanges this week. Sol just happened today. And beyond that, we've also got Western Union. So they're going to be building on Solana. That's going to be deployed by 2026. This is, do you realize how much money Western Union transact? And then beyond that,
hold on.
Chainlink and Balcony. Then
Wait a minute. Go back to that last one.
Guys, the landscape is so ridiculous.
Kelly, you just highlighted Western Union. Where's XRP? I thought XRP was the Western Union one. Go back to that. I thought XRP was going to be the Western Union winner in there. I don't see them included here. What's going on here?
Oh, they're doing SWIFT.
Oh, they're going to replace SWIFT. That's right. They're going to replace the entire monetary cross-border system.
Right. I still wouldn't be surprised. if XRP surprises a lot of people that have been hating on it, because they have been around a long time. They do have a lot of ties, a lot of partnerships, or at least good relationships with a number of different banks. There's so much room for them to deploy something that's going to shock everybody. And everybody's going to be like, oh, I thought that was trash. So I don't want to count it out entirely, but the narrative for which many of the people that were arguing for it, that narrative is unwound. It doesn't mean XRP is dead, but the community strength is something that's overwhelmingly bullish.
You are banned!
Right? Is it because I said something about XRP? No,
it's Huck. It's Huck. It's definitely
but you
Huck.
know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes on there, but the fact that banks are getting in, what was it? Citigroup and Coinbase just talked about deploying a partnership for crypto services and stable coins and purchases, all that. We got JP Morgan getting involved. BlackRock is doing their own stablecoin clearinghouse or whatever the hell they're doing. You got Western Union, you got MasterCard, you got McKinsey. I mean, you name a business that is in any way touching finance that's going to be around in 10 years. That's basically near, even Vanguard capitulated, and they said that they would never give access to their clientele for Bitcoin. So
people are still selling.
Yeah. That's insane to think about. Now, also, Matty B highlighted, we have a pro crypto president here in the US. Soon we're going to be part of, not U.S. being part of Canada, but Maddie, what's the over-under on us being able to absorb Snow Mexico? What'd you say?
Well, it's the humble opinion of this piano that they're all in cahoots. On my stream this morning, I was talking about that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And that's what our current prime minister, who is just basically installed, is an economic hitman. He's just bringing Canada to its knees so Trump can come in and you take it for 10 cents on the dollar. Meanwhile, Trump's partnering with Carney's Brooklands, his massive business for like this energy deal. So the whole thing is just the end reveals the truth. Right. Unfortunately, there's so many in Canada that they don't see anything coming, and when it does, it's too late, and they're just like, well, who do I vote for? Democracy, right?
Oh Lord, what a time to be alive. And Trump's rolling out his True Social integration with crypto.com. I would recommend having True Social on your phone just so you can catch that Trump crash out tweet or truth first, right? I can get the hell out of the way on my 30x long. If I see a Trump crash out come hot off the press on True Social, I know to get the hell out of the way of it because, it is what it is. Shout out to the people watching on X too. I got Kalatri. Finally, I'm saying his name correctly. Jesus, it took me 4 years. I'm sorry about that. Kelly, did we already cover the Citibank partnering up with Coinbase news? This is pretty big.
No, I don't have anything pulled on that. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, $2.6 trillion organization, Citibank, partnering up with Coinbase to improve stable coin utility and digital asset adoption for its clients. And everyone's like, where is the altcoin supercycle? It's been so far a stable coin supercycle, but it's building up liquidity and momentum, all showing that they're here to stay. And this is a huge data point. Go over this one for sure.
Stable coins, they're not doing anything, but $8 trillion in stable coins have been processed this year. 8 trillion. And people say it's not here to stay. Dude, this is insane for what this means. This is why every bank is clamoring to get involved. This is why the market structure bills and legislation are so important. And remember, we feel like legislation has been passed, and it has. Legislation has started to get passed. It is a more welcoming ecosystem and environment on a regulatory framework in the U.S. However, there's still a couple things that need to take place. There's still a deployment of the Clarity Act. There's still an integration of the Genius Act. There's still the market structure bill. And so some of those things, as far along as we think we are, there's still, okay, we've got the plans for the house. You still got to go out there and build the damn house. And in order to build the house, you have to get the permit to build the house. You have to collect the lumber. You got to clear the field. And so we're kind of in the midst of already having the lumber and knowing the field that we want to put it on. We've already been building there, but now we're getting some permits to say, oh, we need to move this over 6 inches. So there's some reframing of some stuff with, I think there's some major money on the sidelines that as soon as some of these things really get enacted and situated, like codified, I think it's going to be like, you sold before the 700% pump, bro? What the?
Yeah.
Right.
The market's looked up, but I sold. Yeah.
I got to admit this to you guys. Okay. I have a Mr. S, and Mr. S has given me some inside info, and we're going to look at this info.
Did he
right now.
pull your fib?
So the X402 ecosystem map. Maddie, have you seen this popping around your timeline?
Well, first off, break it back down for the news. What is X402?
This is an entire new ecosystem of AI agents. Many of them are still being built upon virtuals, but here's a ecosystem market map for everyone I know that's out there speculating on these micro caps. X402 ecosystem includes Base, Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, Near, Sui, Peak, Aeon, Scale, Eigenlayer, and then Mantle, Hedera, Alt Layer, right? So there are some major chains missing from here, as Mr. S so softly highlights. Cardano. What the hell is Cardano doing? Like, it's almost like Cardano is building this insane, amazing ecosystem that nobody can use, and retail has no interest in using it because it's made for developers. And it's really
it's like if I had a tree house in my backyard, I can invite you to play if we were neighbors. But if I said, hey, I have a tree house in Oregon, you want to play in it? It's, dude, you got to go to Oregon to play in my tree house.
I mean, it's kind of a maddening situation because I like Cardano. I hold a little bit of Cardano for the ethos of it being the most decentralized proof of stake system on the planet. But it not getting involved with this AI agent influx, there is literally going to be over 10 billion AI agents released within the next 2 years. And AI agents have their use case. They can do DeFi, they can conversate, they can create content. There's a lot of things that AI agents can do for us as creators that I really, really wish Cardano would expand upon.
Wait, I got to push back because I did just ask just to clarify here, and I don't know. I'm reading this at the same time you are. Yes, Cardano blockchain is actively utilized in the X402 ecosystem.
Why aren't they advertising it?
Particularly through a recent proof of concept integration that enables automate. So it is. I'm not sure why it's not included. Maybe the person that made the map is doesn't like Cardano. I don't know.
Potentially, but I have also not seen any bull posting from the community about it, right? Like they seem so instant. Like I have to go to DZ to find out what's actually going on. I mean, I can go to MinSwap and I can go to Tap Tools and generally see this guy, Bajak, $2 and whatever these are. Hold on. Wait a minute.
are banned!
All right, there we go. You know, I want Cardano to succeed, but it is maddening to see it left out of the hype, or because you have to have a degree of hype going for you. Like, look what XRP's been able to accomplish just off of hype, right? It's been able to accomplish a lot just off of hype. Cults matter. Cults absolutely matter. So I think that long term, Cardano has more staying power than a lot of other projects that are probably going to find insiders that are jeeting major bags over time.
Did you say cults matter?
Okay, hold on. Jesus. Do I have to ban you too? God, another one?
You are banned!
I'm sorry. I can't.
You guys are banning more people than I have subscribers.
Dude, did you say cults? Did you
I'd
say
be down to
cults
0
matter?
subscribers by now.
All right. But, you know, there's things to be questioned, right? And like, I think a lot of the aggravation really stems from people falling for shills of, you know, the meme coin super cycle. Tom Crown had a great post about this that I feel is valid. Remember the people who shield you this shit, right? Stan, whatever the hell this is, Honky, Hammy, you know, I mean, so many chaotic Dooku, and a lot of these were hitting multi-hundred, if not billion-dollar market caps. Whiff, Popcat. There was a lot Frog, Billy. I mean, the list goes on. And this Retardio, the name speaks for itself. I just really feel like people need to use discernment when they are looking for the next big thing. And making money, sure, you could try to do it quick, but it usually doesn't work that way. Usually the way to make money is doing it slow, concise, and well measured, and then you protect the money quickly. You take the profits quickly. You lock the profits up. And that's why I like our DeFi channel so much, because Veteran Crypto is teaching people skills that will continue to earn them yield during the bear market. When the bear market comes back for alts, those DeFi applications are going to matter a whole hell of a lot. Kelly, what do you have up on your screen right now?
You said cults matter.
That's true. Oh my God.
I get it.
Okay. Okay.
Dude, I'm always getting prepared
Okay.
when you're talking. I'm trying to pull up an image to drop
my
the
God.
chuckles.
So, you know, we think about this. I remember when I was in heavy metal music and there's a guy trying to sell me the idea of dinars and Bitcoin, right? And I was kind of poor because I was a heavy metal musician and I was just paying for gas and for food, right? So I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. But if I were to think back to when I was that age, 18, 19 years old, there's a great post about what 3 words would you tell yourself? I would say just buy Bitcoin. You know, some other people I'd heard say DeFi, crypto, hold, right? Those types of things. Just buying and holding Bitcoin through time has proven to be the strongest thing that I could have ever done for my family's financial future. And that's my personal take on it. What 3 things would you tell your 18-year-old self, Piano Matty B?
Well, it's funny you say that because I was just having this conversation and it's regarding my nieces and nephews who are 16 and 15 and 17. So they're in this sweet little pocket where if they just understood CAGR, compound annual growth rate, they wouldn't even go to university, right? They would just get a burn rate, get some sort of job, maybe a bartender or something if there are bartenders or servers, kill their burn rate and invest it all in a CAGR. Now, if you were to invest it in a Bitcoin CAGR, which is, let's just call it 50%, here's some real quick math. So they all go to Starbucks every day of their life. It's hard to believe, but they do. And they buy a $6 Frappa Mocha Cappuccino, whatever it is, right? It's $6 Canadian. If they were to not do that every day, they'd have $2,190 a year. If they invested that Jan 1 every year for 8 years, they'd almost have $200K. Then when you go out to 12 years, now they're not even 30. it's upwards of 500, 600. If you go up to 16 years, now they're 35. It's over $1 million, and it's on a $6 cup of coffee. Now, they don't teach kids that for a reason, because there'd be no workforce, right? Unless you're Canada and all these immigrants come in and take all the jobs, right? But if you don't have that,
Hold
you
on.
have to.
Hold on. We got to beep that out. Yeah.
And so I always, every time I'm crazy Uncle Matt at the dinner table saying, just invest, just take all your money and invest it and do whatever you want in your 20s, facilitate your burn rate, but make sure all that extra money goes into a high CAGR. Now, if the CAGR dips below 20, well, you find another CAGR that's upwards. Maybe there won't be one. Maybe Bitcoin will diminish down to a 25% CAGR, which is still great. It's still performing better than most stocks. Right. If some stock has a bumper year, it may get into in 30 or something like that. But I mean, just if you do anything, talk with Grok or ChatGPT and run a bunch of numbers about CAGRs. If I invest this much over this much time with this much CAGR, what am I going to get by the time I'm 30? And your mind will be blown and your whole life will change. I guarantee it. If anyone is listening, I know I'm preaching to the choir. Everybody knows.
No, but is this the right kind of CAGR we're looking for?
I think that's the wrong kind of CAGR. Dion Fresh.
He's quick on the memes there.
So apparently Dizzy Gang got shadow banned from our account. It happens for some reason. I need to find Dizzy Gang. So Dion, if you're connected to Dizzy, have him reach out to me on X @DruthCrypto or get into my Discord and I can force him back onto the channel. Sometimes YouTube just chooses people to take out for whatever reason. YouTube's likely going to take Piano Matty B out at the rate he's going. I've been taken out before.
You can't say on YouTube?
You can't say beep, beep, beep.
Oh my God.
You can also tune in over. It's multi-streaming on BitLab too, if he wants to tune in there before we get him fixed.
Absolutely. Now, Kelly, you were in the military, okay? And before we go into alts, I want to look at all the alts and the ETH signals you have. How crazy was it that they put the wrong gas in these aircraft? And that's what caused them to fall in the South China Sea yesterday. Did you see this story?
Well, did they put the wrong gas or was it bad gas? Because I
bad gas.
Fuel.
Bad fuel. Took down the Sikorsky SH-60 Seahawk helicopter and the Boeing FA-18EF. Now, how is it hard for this to happen? Like, can you kind of clarify this? Because you actually served in this context. Like, is it an easy mistake to make, or how the hell does it? Because it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Well, it definitely is a bad look. People forget that gas is just like anything else. Fuel is just like anything else. It can go bad. It can spoil, right? So one of the things is if water gets into the fuel, right? If say you have a messed up container that's leaking and you get rainwater in there or something like that, that basically can cause an engine to stall out and not fire back up. Now, if it was the wrong fuel, that would be detrimentally stupid, because when I was a crew chief on C-130s, and in order to do anything, I don't care if you do it every day, 30 times a day, and you know it from memory, you basically have this book of every job that you do. And no matter what you're doing, you have to have the instruction manual open to the page of the task you're doing and all the different steps, which basically is supposed to theoretically help prevent any reasoning for you to mess it up, because you should, no matter how many times you do it, be following every step. Now, again, if it's something on the flip side of that, because if it's two different vehicles, I don't imagine two different people put in the wrong fuel. It looks to me more like there was something that actually, there might've been a fuel container that was contaminated of some fault.
Thank you for giving more context. It's just, I was very, very curious. Now, I do want to look at your charts for Ethereum first and foremost, Kelly, because in my opinion, what you showed me this morning tells me Ethereum is at a make or break moment right now. Can you kind of bring that up and run by essentially what you're seeing on the markets for us here?
Absolutely. Well, this is from Mikey Bull, and what we're seeing here is this very large broadening wedge. And what we saw when this happened last time was a breakout of this upper resistance line, which is a horizontal level that was tap, 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 kind of like Happy Gilmore, taparoo, found support, then launched. Well, we tap, broke through. We're finding support now. And this is ironically almost perfectly in line. Remember that chart that I shared about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago? Where's it at? I think it's right here. Yeah. About 2 weeks ago, I shared that potential Wyckoff setup. And look at where we're at. We're coming right into sort of the make or break it zone. And this is very similar to this zone that we're looking at. Where was that chart at? Right here. We're coming right into that target area, much like, potentially going into this phase E. And while my bullish bias wants this still to play out, you cannot ignore the fact that it's all kind of like the entire crypto market feels like it's on a make it or break it, at least for this year. I'm not saying if we crash here, we can't still run up next year at some point. In fact, I think we likely will, even if we crashed here because of the context of the market. But in the near term, we're kind of in that make or break it, I would say, in the next week and a half at this point, for whether or not we're going to have a super exciting holiday, or if we're going to be explaining to people again, no, it's good when it's down because you can buy more. But people outside of the market, they don't understand that. They think you're just trying to sell them a bill of goods. But we're seeing it across the board. Even Solana came back down. Remember, I drew this weeks, maybe even months ago. But on this run up, the potential retest here, this retest perfect, and that is a multi-year trend line back to 2021. So we're kind of
Don't you go dying on me.
We're on that make or break it on Solana as well. And the framework around Solana is only stronger. So I, as well as everybody else, would like this to continue up. But we're in this kind of bounce zone right now. And if you pull the fib, I want you to notice we're right at the weakest part of that 382. So if this can't even make it up to the golden pocket, then we may be in for a little bit more weakness before any potential move. Chainlink also still within this multi-year symmetrical triangle, just trying to fight its way through. And really, in the context of this, nothing's changed whatsoever. Whether you see the run-up or the sell-off, it's just constricting into this point as we're seeing it right now. So I think all eyes are on Bitcoin right now. Where's that chart I really wanted to show? All eyes are on Bitcoin right now, and it's because of these lines. Now, it feels like a lot of lines, but I want to highlight something. We have this multi-year trend line that goes back to 2021, these double top. Projected out. We've had a lot of struggle here, a lot of struggle here. We broke out, found support, lost it again. And we're not only coming up and testing that multi-year trend line, we also kind of precariously have this rising wedge here that is broken down. And we're literally also testing that at the same venture. So as bullish as I want to be, this either needs to be a fake out down. This needs to get back in this, like Matty B was saying earlier. Look at where that line is, 117, same line he said. We're all seeing the same thing because the charts are telling us this is a level. So we need to pay attention to this. If this rejects, then okay, I can be upset in the near term, or I can say, okay, well, I'm going to look for opportunities. If this were to fall potentially into this gift from God buy zone, I would absolutely be a buyer. But again, today is a no trade day. We need to wait through, see what the FOMC decision is tomorrow, see what the press conference is. And I would argue waiting through the end of the week based on what happens with Xi Jinping and Trump.
Yeah, the CME gap is still right below us too. Like I thought we were gonna close it yesterday. We hit like 113.6. We tapped the very top end of the edge. Can you check out the CME gap as well? Because I know people like I'm feeling bullish, but the CME gap right below me is counteracting my general directional expectations for the market, right? I do feel like that CME gap is going to fill from the size of it.
Yeah, this is it right here. You can pull that up.
Yeah.
We're kind of M shape right now. If this were to roll back over, it wouldn't be the end of the world because we know we have this area below us. In fact, back to the comment earlier, I forget who said it, about maybe we need another washout before we go. Well, we got one teed up for us that doesn't make me ultimately very bearish at all. If this were to crash down into this and find support anywhere in here, especially considering this trend line right here, if we were to crash through this and find support anywhere in here, this ultimately would still be super bullish, even if the price were to come down here between 112 to 110, because we would still be consecutive higher lows. It's once you breach this, have a lower high, and then go down, that's when I start getting more midterm bearish over the next month or two.
All right. I see Matty B's ticker says 114. The CME ticker is at 115 right now. So $1,000 discrepancy.
Crazy.
It's kind of making me want to leave it alone. Go ahead, Maddie.
We're such masochists when it comes to Bitcoin too, because as if it's not hard enough to wait for the 12 days of upside or downside in any given year, we put these time constraints on ourselves. So it's like Bitcoin has to be here by this time or it's all over, right? Imagine what life would be like right now if, let's just go out 2 cycles and we have enough data points to say that the 4-year cycle is kind of over, right? If we to think right now, if we didn't have these time constraints, we wouldn't be worrying about anything. Actually, life would be so unbelievable where the price action is. But because we have this, self-fulfilling time constraint, if we're not here by this time, it's all over, right? And once that, I don't know why we do that to ourselves. That it just reinforces a low time horizon.
Right.
Because you just drive yourself crazy.
People putting too much pressure on themselves. They see the snapshots on X of $5 to $10,000 from some insider that was part of the launch of a token. And I can understand why bearishness is out there. Like Celinda's out here highlighting alt devs, selling their tokens, dumping on investors. This is why if you have to just get an altcoin, you feel like it's the most bullish thing in the world, you have to understand the vesting schedule, the tokenomics of the token, and the timing that you're deciding getting into it. Otherwise, yes, you will fall victim to those types of predatory practices, which we do our best to get people to avoid on the channel. But people are looking for that up and come. Economic disparity, pain is real. Even Canadistan, America, people are hurting, right? That are trying to make the up and come. And I can understand why they're searching so hard for these deep pick alts. But Matty B's approach, I almost feel like has been the best. It's like a Bitcoin maximalist with a long time horizon. He's willing to hear out about altcoins and what it is. And he kind of smirks like, okay. And then we revisit the chart a year later and it's down bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of been the process between me and Matty B. And it's a good approach.
I attributed that to the nightclub business.
What's that?
I attribute it all to the nightclub business.
Oh, really?
When you're in the nightclub business, you see a lot of pretty girls, right? And so most of these altcoins, I call them only coins because the prettier they are, the more seductive they become. And they usually prey on people who need it the most. And like, look at this beautiful girl here, beautiful altcoin. I think she's going to the moon. And the only time it ever takes off is when you're not on that plane, right? And then you end up chasing her like some, simp at a bar chasing some waitress or something. Maybe if I tip her enough, if I just keep giving her money, she'll pay out. But imagine this reality. 6 months from now, Trump puts in a yes man at the Fed, a Bitcoin friendly yes man. So we always watch the FOMC meetings just drooling for him to say anything crypto. Imagine if he said Bitcoin, but we're going to have a Fed chair soon who will probably actively talk about Bitcoin during the FOMC meetings. Yeah. So we see how price reacts to every word he says. Can you imagine the Fed chair talking about Bitcoin?
That's a $30,000 day at these prices. That's a $30,000 pump, in my opinion.
That's when we get to upgrade. That's when we really get to upgrade the Lambo. That's when we get out of the tricycle and we get to actually have not even a Lambo, but actually functional family vehicle that actually has got an engine in it as well. So you can go off-roading or escape from the pillages of everything going on in society.
You're going to have to put your digital ID in that car to start it, though, I heard.
Eventually, NVIDIA is partnering up with Palantir today. I have a very dark theory about Palantir, Elon Musk, and
let's hear it.
I can't. I mean, maybe on your channel. How about Friday? Okay. Friday on your channel. And you know what?
Fair enough.
Someone's asking where Matty B's channel is. Let's show it here. So,
Paul
is.
Tudor Jones apparently just said some stuff.
Oh, did he?
If anything, markets now are so much more potentially explosive than 1999. I'd want to have positions in Bitcoin and crypto.
Did
Paul
he really
Tudor Jones?
Okay, that's a big deal. Yeah. Well, if you guys want to hear my dark theory about Palantir, Elon Musk, and the modern man, follow him on YouTube at Piano Matty B. Okay. He's been working hard. He's been constantly creating content. He has some of the finest thumbnails in the crypto biz and surprisingly based. And you're a little bit more built than I thought you were. You don't seem as built as you are in real life. Shout out to you for your steak eating. And
when he walked by me at the Bitcoin conference, I knew it was him, but it looked like like I knew his face, but it was like,
you guys talking about me?
Yeah, it was like your face being on, because I didn't expect you to be like my height or taller, because you're like 6 foot, maybe 6'1". Yeah.
Well,
I'm no 6'5" like Druth.
You had me looking at you like this. I was like, is that Matty B?
I dropped Piano Matty B's YouTube in the chat as well. And I do got to make sure to make an appearance and say hello to the boys at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. Veteran Crypto's always doing shows late night. You guys got to follow BitLab Academy. We have a whole group of, we work really hard as a community to cross-check each other's information. We can argue when it seems valuable. And I think a larger argument on if the bear market is coming or if we are set up for another pump is valid between some of the bigger content creators out there. I have an AI agent, Maddie, that I'm using to tag and put onto the blockchain posts that major crypto influencers are doing right now. It's a really fun use case. What's that?
How do you do that?
You just tag it, inscribe this on the blockchain, and then it literally encrypts onto, I think it does Constellation DAG right now, but it literally makes the post. So when you know how it goes, Matty B, someone will say something hyperbolic, super overly bullish, and then they'll delete it right as things start to go to hell and they'll hide. And you're looking for them like this. Where the hell that motherfucker go? This technology is actually able to tag that tweet forever. They can never run away from the things that they said. Kind of a fun little side use case of AI agents that I find pretty cool. So excellent show today. So much to go over. And we're going to have a major show tomorrow as well, covering the FOMC, covering those earnings calls. And on Friday, I'm going to be jumping on Piano Matty B's show and tell you my deep, dark premonition, something that hit me like a bag of bricks over this.
Please put that in your notes so you don't forget.
I will. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, and I forgot last Friday because things are so crazy, but I have to go on that show.
Your Palantir thing. Like,
yes,
put that, make sure you put the idea. Okay.
Trust me, this is not leaving my mind, bro.
Okay,
like it's
perfect.
I'm telling you, like so many people. I'm going to get into it on your show. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. Thank you, Matty B, Kelly Kellen, for coming in. Be strong, you guys. These metrics are looking absolutely delicious. Look at Bitcoin versus the S&P 500.
I mean, look at this. This is like a magnet to the upside, guys. Oh, hold on to what we got. Man, I think this market's about to shake some people up. And those that are along for the ride, I think it's going to be a magnificent holiday season, either this year or next year.
I love it. I love it. Well, stay based, folks, and I will see you very soon. Till next time.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.